how are you today? I hope you all are well. You tuned in to the Gisela show about pets, homeopathy, natural health, and everything in between. Um, we are here on this lovely Sunday. We have our show every Sunday at 12 o'clock. If you have any questions, please go and click on the chat box, type in your question, and Amnon, who's our producer, Amnon.
Good morning. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Yes, and tell the folks of how they can reach me if they have a question or a comment to what I am going to talk about.
All right. So, one way is to do it through the chat. And since you are watching now, on the right side of the video or below the video, depending on your device, there is a box to sign in. Just sign in with any name, and you'll be able to chat back and forth, ask the questions. If you want to call on your phone, it's 919-518-9773. Or you can also use Skype to connect to Computers 2K Voice. This is voice only, audio only, no video there.
Okay, great. So we don't even have to know what you look like. We don't have to know your real name. You can sign in with Mickey Mouse if you want to, or with the name of your dog. We don't care. Just tell us how to address you. I know we have some regulars who have been asking questions. I always appreciate that, right, Amnon? It's always so much nicer
It's so much
if we
better.
have, yeah.
Absolutely.
And if we know of what you like, if you tell us what you like, we are going to come towards the rest of the year. I'm going to see that I get a few more guests that will also talk to us about different things. Like next week, we're going to have a guest on that talks about um, healthcare, alternative healthcare, not so much providers, but it's like an insurance, but it's not an insurance. So he'll tell us all about that. Okay. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to today's show. Really interesting today's show. We're going to make it today all about pets. But before we do that, as you know, I always have a little rant about political things and so on because I am an advocate of what is happening. I'm very much so in you know trying to find what to think or what to make of it. What do you make of this? That Congress, who has been working just a few hours a week every week, our congressmen and congresswomen, they're taking a 7-week vacation. 7 weeks. Wouldn't you? Full pay, naturally. Um, wouldn't you be so lucky to get 1 or 2 weeks of full paid vacation, right? Well, these guys are getting 7 weeks, and even though they have not addressed any of the issues that need to be addressed, like legalizing marijuana, like staffing the opiate, uh, uh, you know, avalanche, really. I mean, people are more and more are getting hooked on opiates. And why not? I mean, you go to the doctor, the first thing he gives you either is painkiller, antibiotics, or some steroid. I mean, they don't seem to have much of anything else. Uh, I would hate to be a doctor today. I really would, because it's not that they are mean and ornery and want to do us harm. It's no, they have that protocol that somebody comes with this symptom and this is the protocol, and there's no buts, there's nothing. And the vets are doing the same thing, the veterinarians are doing the same thing. And it is just really too sad. So why are we not? Now, I do not believe that we should have more government and more government interventions, especially not local small government intervention, because that's just way out of hand. I live in a small hamlet here. I think our residents are now here 20,000. Okay, 20,000 people. Okay, they have 3 people in their government office, 3 secretaries, and one zoning officer. You tell me, yeah, government going out of hand. That's probably it. That's probably right there. It's paying all our tax dollars pay for all of that. 1% of our population is in prison. I mean, can you make sense of that? Somebody had to go to prison because apparently, this is what I just read in the New York Times, that they had, in fact, the person died on the way to prison. They were extradited from one state to another, and these private companies, this person was saying that it had pain and it had pain, and it ultimately died 2 days later of a perforated ulcer, because these people that were transporting, it was a private company, had no knowledge. They thought that person was faking. So 1% of our population is in prison. Does that make even sense? It doesn't, right? So why are our government people who should fix all that going on a 7-week vacation? You tell me. If you have a different opinion and not outraged about that, then please go to the chat room. Tell me about it. Tell me your opinion. Okay? Because I would really like to know. It's not right. Okay? But I mean, we are living in such a Alzheimer's. Oh, Alzheimer's. You know what? Americans always want to be first on everything, right? They want to be the first to the moon. They want to be the first and which is admirable and good and nice. I mean, I like to, live in a country and belong to a people that always want to be first. But they seldom are. They seldom are. But finally they made it to first. They're the first to have the highest Alzheimer population in the whole world. Now, if that is an achievement, I don't know what. One of the things we know about Alzheimer's, and I've said that before, and you know what, guys? The same thing happens to animals. I have seen dogs that were so confused, they had no idea where they were. And that is, there was an alteration in the brain. And I believe it is a form of Alzheimer's that they had. Now, one of the things that I always, and I take it, my husband takes it, when I see an elderly dog, I give it to the elderly dog too, is coconut butter. Coconut butter. Buy the good kind, the organic kind. Here's a tip. If you have a TJ Maxx near you, sometimes, or Home Goods, sometimes they sell the coconut butter. They are the glasses for like $6-7, which is a lot less than if you buy it at Whole Foods. Whole Foods, you can pay $15 for a small glass of coconut butter. But if you go to a TJ Maxx, you can buy it. Have at least I mean, depending on the size of the person or animal that you want to give it to. But, from a teaspoon to a tablespoon, divided throughout the day or divided in twice. So, what I do is I cook often with coconut butter. Like if I fry something or so on, what I will do is I will put a teaspoon of coconut butter into the oil also, and I fry it with that. It gives it a really nice taste. It gives it that coconutty taste, which we happen to love. But if you don't like that, then what you can do is you can put it either in your morning drink, like for instance, if you make yourself a shake, you can put it into the blender. You can also just you know put it into something that it just dissolves in, like gravy, soup, anything else. I love it in oatmeal. Try it in oatmeal in the morning. It is delicious. I put a couple of flakes of coconut in there. I put some raisins in there. I put a little bit of almonds or walnuts, whatever I have. Cashews are very, very good for your brain. So I make that, and I definitely put a teaspoonful of coconut butter into it. It makes it delicious, and tests have shown that it does help with the staffing off the Alzheimer's symptoms. People that have had Alzheimer's and have Alzheimer's, if they have a regimen with coconut oil, with CBD oil also, they are much better off. Their disease does not progress as fast, much slower, and they sometimes even have more often lucid days. So, uh, coconut butter is definitely a good way to go. So, I don't know why and we know all of this. We know all of this. You can find out all of this on the internet, and there's nothing new about this. I'm sure that you all know about it already. And I've talked about it here. And so I really think that we have so much work, Congress and government has so much work to do. And then to take off 7 weeks, I mean, 2 or 3 weeks, I think that's just okay, fine. They're hardworking people. I guess they make too much money. They don't want to work. Um, we need to we need to change all of this. Now, I don't know if this next election will do that, and far be it from me to say or trying to predict it. Uh, I think our people in this country have to get a lot more angry, a lot more engaged in their politics. So try to be more engaged. Try to find out what your local representative is doing. What are they doing all day? What are they working on? Um, that would be a good idea. And if you have information like that and you wanted to have a discussion like that, I'll be glad to do that. As you know, I'm not. Um, I'm very engaged about it. So that was my little rant for the day. And now we'll talk about homeopathy. Um, my second most favorite subject, or my first. I think homeopathy is really more of I would say, a passion. Um, I am so lucky. I am so lucky to have found homeopathy and are able to learn as much as I do learn because of the internet, and because I have knowledge of where to find information. Most of my remedies and my information come from Berica. Berica was a homeopathist that was most influential. Kent and Berica, they wrote the Materia Medica of homeopathy, which was at that time about 2 to 3,000 remedies. It has now extended to about 6,000 remedies. And so you can imagine that when you try to find a remedy for a particular illness or for particular symptoms that you see, that sometimes it might be very difficult to find the right remedy because each remedy has has features in it. So that means, for instance, if you look at Spongia Tosta, Spongia Tosta is really a thyroid medication. You use it for thyroid, you use it for a croupy cough, you use it for a spasmodic winter cough, like that kind of thing. And our animals have that too. I have my little TC, it's a little black poodle, and he has that. And there are many, many different layers. Spongia toaster is made from sponge. And it helps uh, to bring relief to dryness of the mouth, the dryness of the trachea that leads to dry hacking, croupy cough with intense spasmodic hacking, hot sore throats, hoarseness, difficulty breathing, and eventually heavy fatigue. Now, I have found that Spongia toaster is best or most of the time cats need that more than any other animal. I had one time a cat, an old cat who lived to be, I think she was 27 when she died, and she was just at one point she just fell over and was like rigid, and we thought she was dead. There was nothing. I mean, she was feeble before, and we had to urge her to eat and so on. And I had to force feed her with a dropper at one point. But at that time, she walked out on the deck, fell over, and just lay there. But her eyes were not open, so she was not dead. I listened to her pulse, and she still had a pretty, pretty strong heart. But I thought, boy, this cat is a goner, you know. So my husband walked out and he said, "Oh, what's happening was our cat?" And I said, "Well, I think, honey, she's finally going." And at that time, she was about 24, and that was a great age, right? So he looked at me and he said, "Can't you do something?" And he has seen me work miracles before. And I said, "But honey, you know what? I can't walk on water. I mean, look, the cat is probably going. Let her just go in peace." "Oh, well." And he was standing there. And I mean, you could see there were tears in his eyes. And I thought, "Oh, God, I can't stand this." So I said, "Okay, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to give her a remedy, and I'm going to see if if this will work." And I diluted a remedy. I took the pellets, put them into a little bit of water, crushed the pills so that they were dissolving faster. I took a little syringe without the needle, and I started to dribble it in the side of her mouth. So after 15 minutes, I did it again. after another 15 minutes again. And when I came out then, which was like a half an hour after she just fell over, she started lifting her head. So I lifted her up and I said, well, you think you can stand? And she was standing wobbly, moving a little, moving a little. So I gave her another dose. And within 45 minutes, wouldn't you believe it? This cat was walking around and meowing. And it was just the most insane thing. And then from then on, I gave a Spongia Tosta because she started to develop this cough, and it apparently was associated with her thyroid that she may have had. We think she may even have had cancer there, but she lived for another 3 years, three and a half years. So there you can see that homeopathy really does work like a miracle. I have had another cat uh, that was found by the side of the road, and the cat could hardly move, could hardly breathe. I mean, the cat couldn't, it was really rattling, and it was really stiff. Apparently, the cat must have been hit by a car. You couldn't see anything outwards. There was no fur gone or no lacerations or anything. Maybe a big animal had a. So, since I did not know what was happening with the cat, I took it to my friend, the veterinarian, and I said, "Listen, I just found this little thing by the road. It was not a big cat, but it was an older cat. It was not a kitten." And she gave it an X-ray, and she said, "Well, it seemed like she has a hiatal hernia, and all her intestines have gone up to the front of her body and are obstructing her breathing. It must have happened either by an impact or something, but there were no broken bones really." Before, oh, I wanted to tell you too. Before I took her to the vet, right away, I gave the cat some arnica. If you ever have an animal that you see is in distress and you really don't know, is it a broken bone? Is it just animal can't move, but it's just a big problem, it lies, or it is strained, or it's limping, or it can't walk or can't breathe. Arnica is a very good remedy to give in any case. I've even given it to the chickens. I mean, once in a while, one of my chickens is so stupid to go so close to the horse that the horse steps on their foot. Well, I have I have had chickens that afterwards were hopping around, trying to hop around on one leg. Um, First thing I do is I grab the chicken, I open the beak, and I put a little bit of arnica into the beak. Now I always have like a bottle like this. I always have some arnica dissolved. So when it when I have an emergency like that, all I have to do is take a little syringe and pull up some arnica and either put it into the beak or in the mouth or even for us, if we stub our toe or we have a bruise or something, right away some arnica. Arnica is really somewhat of a miracle homeopathic remedy. Anyway, so this cat, and my vet, who's a friend of mine, she's a real sweet gal, and she said, you know what, this cat is, I don't think this cat is going to make it. You'll see, it's really pretty bad. And I looked at at her and I said, well, I really don't need another cat, you know? I mean, I need another cat like a hole in the head. I have three cats, and that's all I need. But I felt sorry for that little cat. That little cat had that look, you know, had those eyes that they were just begging. They were just begging. So I said, okay, I'm going to take her home. I don't want you to put her to sleep. I'm going to take her home. I'm going to see what I can do. If she makes it, she makes it. If she doesn't make it, well, at least I tried. So what I did is I took her home. I started to hydrate her first. I would give her every 15, 20 minutes, I would give her some water by mouth, always just a few drops. Then, because she wouldn't eat, because she couldn't breathe, she couldn't breathe, I gave her arnica, and I gave her arnica every 30 minutes, 30C. And then I started to dissolve some cat food, some good quality cat food in some water. And I mixed a little bit of canned milk, not sweetened condensed milk, but just evaporated milk with a little bit of molasses. And I put the arnica into that, and I dissolved that, and I would pull it up with a syringe, and I would start putting it into her mouth. Well, I did this for 3 days, day and night. Now, believe you me, after 3 days, I was like, okay, cat, you better make it because I gotta get some sleep. I would sleep an hour and a half or 2 hours, and I would wake up and, oh, I gotta take care of that cat. Well, making a long story short, after 2 weeks, the cat really started to eat on her own. She still had a lot of problems breathing. I also gave her some arsenicum because that increases appetite. And after I had given her, after like a month, the cat was walking around, still had sometimes little difficulty breathing. And guess what? The cat is living here and is living very well, very well. She is more, she is more loving and more of a family member than any of the other ones. The other ones are all sort of like, okay, I can take you or leave you. But this one is like attached to the hip, right? Because she knew we saved her life. She has no more problems breathing. And even though I do admire my veterinarian, I do think that she has a very good heart. B, she is very knowledgeable. And I'm so glad that I have somebody, but she naturally would never say, but when I told her about the cat that I'm going to treat her with homeopathy, she looked at me and smiled and she said, I know you will. And hopefully you will be right. And that was it, but she would never say, well, homeopathy is the ticket, because the veterinarian association has poo-pooed homeopathy. In fact, there is right now in England a petition going around to veterinarians to ban homeopathy on anybody because they call it quackery. Well, uh, everybody is entitled to their own opinion, and everybody can do whatever they feel is the right thing. And I certainly respect that, because I really do believe that people should do whatever their heart and soul and their brain tells them. But homeopathy has so many anecdotal success stories, and anecdotal in the scientific community do not count. Now, they can't explain why homeopathy works. We homeopathists, we can explain it. We know that homeopathy works. The only way it works is that if there is still a life force that is there, it will help that life force to heal the body or to heal the entity. And that is how homeopathy works. It works with your life force. So if the animal has been treated with a lot of steroids, or if you yourself have been treated with a lot of steroids, homeopathy can only do maybe 30 or 40% of what it should be doing by helping your immune system, which is the life force, and your what makes us live, what makes us work, what makes us survive whenever we are under a lot of stress, or if we are under attack. That is the life force. That all comes in. Now, homeopathy works with that. And if that is suppressed, then homeopathy can only work so much. I'm going to have a dog that I'm going to be seeing on Monday, which has been treated with steroids and now with antibiotics, and for no reason. When I asked the owner, I said, why is the dog being treated with antibiotics? Well, we really don't know. It's a precaution in case the dog has Lyme disease. What kind of garbage is that? You don't know? And you just go ahead and treat? Not good. And you know what? It has nothing to do with the doctors. It has something to do with the owner. The owner should say, well, before we treat the animal with antibiotics, why don't we find out what we're treating it for? And the same thing is for you. You go to the doctor, and the doctor said, well, I don't really know what's happening with you, but let's give you a round of antibiotics. We know now antibiotics suppress the immune system. They really do a lot more than just maybe treat an antibacterial infection. Antibiotics are only for if you have a bacterial infection. That's what the word says, antibiotics, antibacterial infection. So if you don't have a bacterial infection, you don't need antibiotics. You or your animal or anybody else. So do not take antibiotics unless you have a bacterial infection. And that it is confirmed. Okay? Don't take it, because all you do is suppress your immune system, because a lot of our bacteria that we have in our body are beneficial. We need those gut bacteria. We need those bacteria to make our body work, to digest. And if they are killed too, the body can't do its work. Amnon, do we have any questions?
No, we don't.
Well, too bad. I
I
guess
mean,
everybody. Yes?
this morning I was talking with one of my co-hosts on my show before the show, and he was telling me about he treated his dog for worms.
Yeah.
Not because the dog had
Tapeworm.
worms,
Yeah.
but because he wanted to make sure that the dog does not get worms. So
Okay.
he got it himself and he gave it to the dog. And he did it Friday morning, and he said the dog was just laying around, not eating. He ate
Yeah.
first time and then threw it up, but she's drinking. She's drinking normally, but she's not eating.
Yeah.
And he said if by tomorrow she's not eating, he's going to take her to the vet. But I mean, I think that's normal, right? That when you treat them for something that's
Well,
happening in the stomach and there's nothing there really to treat, it's going to take it, it's going
oh,
to
of
affect
course.
the way that they are behaving.
It's really, that is really a classic case of going where you don't know where you're going. Okay. It's not, I don't agree with people. First of all, if you don't see any worms in the stool of your dog, that's why once in a while you should inspect the stool of your dogs or your cats to see if there are any worms. I don't believe in just treating prophylactically, because you can poison your animal with it. Now, before he takes it to the, call your co-host and tell him to give the dog a dose of arsenicum,
Okay.
okay, before he takes him to the vet. It's not because I want him to save his money for the vet, but the vet may give him more
Right.
and make the dog worse. So I give the dog a dose of 30C or 6 or 9C
Arsenicum.
arsenicum. Wait for a little bit. The dog should start eating, especially if the dog ate and he threw it up. He has a severe upset stomach.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing as with antibiotics. This dog that I'm going to be seeing tomorrow has been throwing up for a couple of days already because of the antibiotics. I know it is because of the antibiotics. Because just think of you. When was the last time you took antibiotics?
Right.
Many times you get very sick, you get very lethargic with antibiotics. And worm medication is the same thing. And especially if it is a worm medication that he just bought off the internet or bought somewhere, I would not do that at all. I could just warn people about doing that. Please don't. If it is a tapeworm, you see it in the stool. If it's roundworms, you see them in the stool. Everybody has worms, small worms in their system. You do, I do, our animals do. These little worms help us digest and help our system to work well. Once they get overpowering, he may also have, the dog may also have heartworms. If he does have heartworms and you give him a worm medication,
Yeah.
dog can die from it. So give him a dose of arsenicum, see what happens, and give him my telephone number or give him my thing. I'll tell him what to do next if that doesn't work. Okay?
Yeah. Okay.
Because it's like like I gave little Charlie, I gave him Frontline, and he's blind now. You know, I believed in what the advertising was telling us. Also, those flea collars that people put on cats and dogs. Please do not, do not, do not, do not, do not. They are neurotoxins in there. I've said that so many times, but I know that people still do it. Now, there's something else now. I don't know if I mentioned it last time, but there's something else now, and I'm going to have to make a color and see how well it works. The results and you know, the findings from people that have reviewed it have been really positive, and that is called amber. You know, the little amber, Baltic amber, and you can buy those beads. Well, you can buy the color. Right now it's sold out on Amazon because the reviews were so great. But you know, the color was like $35 or something like that. But you can buy the amber beads, but they have to be real amber. They can't be just the colored glass. And string them up, make a little collar, tie it with so that it can't come off, and it seems like it repels fleas and ticks. At least that's what the reviews are. And I'm going to try it with us, see how that works. I just haven't been able to order. I've been so busy with my remedy, which I'm going to be coming to next, that I haven't been able to order that. But if any of you out there is trying it, please let me know of how well it works, because I would like to um, see, because that would be a fabulous alternative, wouldn't it be, Amnon, to
Oh yeah,
you know,
sure.
Baltic amber, and the beads are small, especially with cats, because cats, you need to have the color clothes on, and it seems like it really works. At least that's what the reviews say. I have not myself tried it as yet. So, um, yeah, Arnica and Arsenicum are two of the best remedies, and you should always have something like that um, in in your arsenal at home. Everyone who is interested in homeopathy, you can buy small kits, and I will have, once my website is finished, also small kits like with 6 remedies that are explained each, um, that are an emergency kit, that you can just purchase for, not that much. And it will help to have something in an emergency. All right. Any other questions, Amnon? How is your dog doing? How are your dogs? How are
She
your animals
she
doing?
she's fine. She went to the vet on Tuesday for teeth cleaning, and they found 2 loose teeth up in the front. One extra tooth that was there and that was loose, and another tooth that was loose. So they removed them, and she's great. She's fine.
Good. How old is she?
She's 7.
Okay. Here's what you're going to do from now on. You're going to give your dog Calc Fleur, Calc Fleur, uh, CALC, next second word, Fleur, FLEUR, Calc Fleur, and try to get the remedy in 6C. 6C. It's a cell salt.
Okay.
Start start giving the dog that every day on the food, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And you will see that the teeth will get better. They will not be as loose.
I mean, she doesn't have any more loose teeth. It's fine.
Yeah, but the other teeth can be loose
Oh,
too.
I see what you mean.
It can
Okay.
progress. Yeah. And uh, if you give that to her every day, she will keep her teeth much better, and there will not be as much tartar on the teeth either.
Okay. Calc Fleur.
Calc Fleur, yeah.
Okay.
Uh, that is a very good remedy for loose teeth, for teeth that are accumulating a lot of tartar and so on. A lot of dogs do that. Don't give her any hard bones or anything,
No,
because that's what they do, is they get. What does she get to eat? She gets dry food and
dry
wet
food.
food?
Dry food.
Only dry food?
Yeah. Kathy would not let her eat anything. Every now and then I sneak her some chicken and
Well,
but
yeah, because she's a pet.
yeah.
And pets need to be petted and need to be spoiled. That's
Yep.
what we have them
And
for.
Kathy is surprised that Gaia is always behind me. Wherever I go, she goes. She said, she's like your shadow. I said, well,
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, because you treat her well.
Yeah.
So she's always there.
Yep.
Yeah, good for you. Yeah. Tom has one too, who's attached to his hip because he always he always sneaks him things. I can see it on the table. I hate when we're sitting and eating dinner and the dogs are all around us and begging. I can't stand that. I think that comes from the time when I was young and that it was just not done. Animals were not by the table. Well, this dog, the other two are lying all over the place on the couch or this or they, they could care less of food from the dinner table. But this little dog, he sits right next to Tom, and I see, and then I thought, well, I'm going to watch him because my husband did this so insidiously. All of a sudden his hand would go down. And I
Mm-hmm.
would say, what? Well, there was a piece of chicken went to the dog,
Uh-huh.
piece of beef went to the dog, piece of that. It's just, I say, you're incredible. You're just, why would you do that? I mean,
Yeah.
it's not, and the dog, is overweight, chubby tubby,
Yeah.
but hey, you know, the older I get, the more I get also of, ah, God, there are more important things to get upset about than that. So,
Nah, there's no reason to get upset over that.
nah, there isn't. There really isn't. And I must tell you that with my remedies, I've been taking, like, as you all know, whatever I tell you, I take myself too.
Mm-hmm.
I take and I experiment with it. I'm always the first guinea pig. And I've been using this feel good remedy now for quite some time. And I really must say, the longer I take it, the better I feel. It takes a while. You have to take it for a while. And it has evened out my moods. It's now that, before I was always, oh, I got to do this and I got to do that. And oh my God, and this isn't done. And why is this like this? And
Mm-hmm.
I was jumping from one crisis to another, even if it was just in my head. Um, I don't have that anymore. I'm sort of like, now, okay, all right, I'm going to get to it when I get to it. And I make myself a list and say, okay, these are the things I have to do and I have to get them done. And if I don't get them all done, well, there's still tomorrow,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So I wasn't like that before. I was one of those driven people, Oh, I've got to get this done and I've got to get that done. This remedy has made me feel so good and so balanced. Not that I don't care, I care just as much, but I don't have that urgency that drove me nuts before. So once I have it, we are still working on the label. I am a little fussy about it. I'm sorry. I had ordered the bottles. The bottles came and they were all plastic. I think I said that last week already. So this week we are getting the glass bottles because we can't put it into plastic bottles.
Right.
So, like with everything, there are
Something.
always little hickeys
Yep.
along the way. In the past, I would go and I would sit there and I would hold my head and say, oh, why me? It all happens to me. I don't do that anymore. I'm taking my feel good remedy and I'm just balanced and say, okay, another hurdle we have to go through. We're going to get it done. So I wish uh, once we have it available, I hope everybody will be able to get one. And then you will have one, Amnon, and you will tell the folks of how well you feel with it. Okay. And
Sure.
we're going to close it tonight because I'm invited to a pool party.
Oh, no. Oh, you
Really
are
looking
feeling
forward
good.
to. Yeah. Yesterday, we were at a picnic. Not many people, just Tom and me. We took the dogs out to a small little secluded lake. And then this lake looks like an enchanted pond.
Mm.
It no people, just all pristine. I mean, it was just glorious. The flies ate us up a little bit, but it was just glorious. So we had a beautiful picnic yesterday, and today we are invited to this pool party that I'm looking forward to. So I hope all of you
Now,
have something good to do.
don't do in the pool what you did in that place without people and pristine lake.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think no, you know what? We didn't go in the water yesterday in that pond because
You
um
don't know what's in it.
yeah, and you know what? We didn't have I had my bathing suit on, but Tom didn't have his on, and you needed shoes to get in, you
Hmm.
know?
Oh,
Uh,
it's
uh, yeah,
rocky.
and I don't like that stuff in between my toes, so I didn't have my shoes on.
Hmm.
And so, but the next time we go up there, we will be prepared. Okay, I hope all of you have a wonderful Sunday and a great week, successful one for all of you. Hopefully, nothing bad will happen next week. We have that Republican convention coming. Let's hope it all goes peaceful and we will not have any problems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You heard the news today, right?
What was the news today?
They killed 3 policemen in Baton Rouge.
Holy cow. This has to
It's
stop.
ridiculous.
It has to stop.
Yeah.
God almighty, people, it has to stop. I can see why people are angry. I can see why they are angry. I am angry. But you know what? Killing is not an answer.
Nope.
It definitely is not. And the only way to do this is by reform. Reform the laws, reform. You know, our police should not be outfitted like a military unit. It should not be. They should not be. They should make friends with people and not try to just get them into jail. Um, and it's not the police people's fault. It's the way all of this is structured. It's not structured right. It's not done right. And you know, I really am not for Trump, not at all. But the one thing that he does say right is we have to have reforms. It has to change. It has to quit. Will he do it in the right way? That is to be seen. Um, will Hillary be the right one? Will she
No.
even go towards reform? I don't think
No,
so.
with her, it's going to be continuing the same thing.
Absolutely. And so I don't know what the answer is here, but there has to be soon an answer because we cannot keep killing each other
Yeah, that's exactly
on
what we're
both
doing.
sides.
Right.
I
Okay.
mean, okay. So with that, everybody, I love you all. My dogs want to go. Bye-bye.
See ya.
You're tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. Our weekly lineup of call-in programs includes Computers 2K Now with Amnon Nissan, My Life, My Will with Gisela DiCarlo, The Tanya Love Show, Health Then with Debbie Bruck, Breaking Free with Marilyn Shannon, Triangle Be Well with Howard Jacobson, Lunch and Learn with Rabbi Yisrael Cutler, Lessons of Vietnam with NCVVI members, Current Affairs with Amnon Nissan. And if you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section on nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by Atomos.com, makers of quality video recorders and converters, CarolinaApparel.com, and DeltaForce.net.